Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Bitcoin is having a major free fall at the moment. Now the reason for this is due to a bunch of technical and fundamental aspects. We're trading at $25,550. Now I'm going to get into the fundamental and technical aspects in today's video, so make sure to smash up that like button. That's all I ask in exchange for this content. Now we broke down from two very technically important patterns. The first one is on the 4-hourly time frame. We were forming a descending triangle. I actually updated you guys yesterday regarding this pattern, but I got super busy. I couldn't film the video, unfortunately, but so we saw a breakdown towards the downside, and now we're at a very critical level of support, because if we do hold the support, then Bitcoin has the chance of potentially forming a double bottom. But I think this chance hopefully gets fulfilled, but it's looking pretty bearish in the upcoming days because we've got the CPI data that's going to be coming out, which is going to cause a lot of volatility. The US condemned a lot of tokens and securities, leading their price to really catastrophically fall towards the downside. So there is a bunch of stuff happening. I'm going to get into a lot of in-depth stuff today. So I want to get into the reality of the situation. I was with a very big trader yesterday, and he was telling me this very interesting thing, which I want to share with you guys. Now, what happened was, after the FTX collapse, and now as the US is cracking down more into crypto, a lot of market makers have began to withdraw from market making. Now what that causes is, if I switch back to the chart, you would have noticed on a very large scale, right? I mean, for the past couple of weeks, months, you could say we have not been having huge candles, which are like, on the daily, actually, like $1,000 move candles. We used to see huge candles, but now just in the past like 1, 2, 3 days, we start to see these again because of all this FUD. But if you look at like from 17th of March up till now, June 10th, we haven't seen much volume. So volume overall is dropping if you compare it to the previous cycles. The overall volume has dropped completely. Like if you look at the previous bull market, bear market history, we would usually have the bear market for like, 2 months, and then have another bull market. And then, this would have been the bear market, and then we should have had another bull market. But we've really collapsed. Yes, this is due to different economical factors as well, such as, the US is, well, some say we're in a recession, some say that we're not. I believe that we are already in a recession. These things are going on top of each other, which is, we haven't experienced a lot in the past history of Bitcoin. So that's also normal. But I think because the US has been withdrawing right now from crypto, of course, US mainstream media does influence crypto a lot. Now with the US crackdown, we haven't been seeing any really major articles regarding cryptocurrencies. Like we used to see crypto all over the news, all over the media back in the bull market, which fueled more retail investors to go in and jump into crypto. And of course, because there is retail demand, then market makers come in to utilize on that profit that could be made from crypto traders in the retail sector. So I think that because the US is withdrawing, this is actually very bad for crypto. I know Asia is where most of the volume comes, but US really influences people with their media. So it's not looking good whatsoever. Now, jumping into the news, right? I'm gonna get into my targets in just a second, so stay tuned until the end of this video. I will jump into my targets. And by the way, if you do wanna trade crypto, you should head over to Bitflex. That's where I am trading at the moment. Of course, diversify the amount of exchanges you use for trading. That's the thing that I would recommend. But if you do use this link, you will get a chance to win an Apple Watch, which is awesome. So all you have to do is deposit $100, make one trade on futures, and then you will get the chance to win that Apple Watch. I think you have a pretty good chance if you do. So do use the link, sign up, and give it a shot. You may win an Apple Watch. And don't forget to join the free Telegram channel also with the link in the description below. And you can get up to $30 discount on your new TradingView plan if you use this link as well. So jumping into the other news, right? This is super important. So I've told you that these tokens have been deemed as securities by the United States. And following this, we saw a major dump towards the downside on all of these tokens. So Robinhood also decided to delist a bunch of cryptos. Now this is causing again a lot of volume to be dropped because Robinhood, Binance US, they do provide significant volume to the crypto industry. So overall, this is very bad. So we've seen Solana, right? This has been like, this was 8:35 a.m. We can check the prices now as well. I'm pretty sure they've dumped furthermore. So I'm going to check. Let's go to this chart. And by the way, I will be opening a short position like I discussed at this 25.2K level, most likely, but I will again discuss this later on. So I see that ADA fell by 16% like 2 hours ago. So let's go to ADA USDT after the US made it a security. So, oh wow, this is a huge dump towards the downside. We saw a mega dump. So everything is dumping because they're being classified as securities. 42% dump in 1 week. So that's unbelievable on the weekly candle. I mean, we saw sand also fall by 19% 2 hours ago. Let's see how much that has been impacted on the weekly time frame. It's just phenomenal, this dump. You know, it's absolutely phenomenal. And you know, it also matches with the technical aspect. We got rejected from the EMA ribbons as well, but it's because these are being classified as securities. Again, another 45% dump towards the downside. So what should you be doing, right? What should you be doing? Why are these classified as securities? Should you hold any of these following tokens? Now, there is a test. It's called the Howey test. When you do decide to allocate, when governments decide to allocate something as a security, I believe the most important one here is that with the expectation of profit. So if you are purchasing something, a cryptocurrency, with the only sole expectation of making profit derived from the efforts of others, I think that is the biggest thing that really, you know, puts it out as a security. Like Bitcoin, for example, it's not been classified as a security because it's more of a store of wealth and, you know, it has its use cases. Ethereum, surprisingly, hasn't been mentioned as a security either. But again, Ethereum, decentralized applications, etc. But a bunch of these other stuff, these tokens, because I believe they don't have a real world use case product just yet that is mainstreamly adopted, they're more classified as security. So I would stay away from these. I'm sure BNB is probably the biggest one over here that is being classified as a security, because I think BNB really, it's, you know, it has its use cases, but with the recent thread that came out, by the way, it's super embarrassing. There's just so much to talk about in today's video. This thread I saw, and it was super embarrassing, like really embarrassing. Basically, there was some chat logs from Binance US employees, and it was just like the compliance manager talking to the BD head regarding, like, you know, the chats are just funny. So jump into the Telegram and read it for yourself. It's really funny, and it's really something that is super embarrassing and shouldn't happen whatsoever. It's similar to like the FTX situation where they were accounting on like an app or something. It's the same level of embarrassment. So it's just super embarrassing overall for Binance, and you know, the industry is facing a lot of FUD at the moment. But again, if you are a long-term believer in crypto, then of course buy up every single day. That's what I'm doing, because in the next 10 years, when this is a more developed industry, I do believe that none of this will matter in the long term. So I'm going to look through a bit more news. So Binance US did suspend withdrawals. That's also causing the mega dump as well. And the final thing that I want to mention is if we look at the CPI predictions, the CPI prediction is going to be, the consensus forecast is at 44.1%. That would be a massive fall right towards the downside from inflation. And of course, that could cause volatility in the markets, positive volatility most likely if you look at it. But I personally believe the US will continue to increase their interest rates. The BlackRock CEO I've been mentioning is saying that the US will most likely increase their interest rates 2 to 4 more times, which is incredibly scary. And I do believe even though the CPI data will be very bullish, I don't think the markets will react that heavily towards the upside, my personal thought, because they're still looking to increase interest rates until we hit a specific target. I believe it was 2% inflation rate that the Fed chair was looking out for. So it's looking pretty scary right now. Bitcoin, my next trade, right? Let's discuss my next trade. Am I going to be opening a new trade? Now we're falling again from this falling wedge. People were calling me crazy when I was looking out for this massive head and shoulders pattern. People were like, it's too early, you know, this is never going to happen, etc., blah, blah, blah. But I think it's just becoming more and more possible and more likely that this head and shoulders pattern will play out. Now, the very important thing that we have to look out for is this trend line over here. So if I draw out this very crucial trend line, and we're going to adjust it a little bit too, so it makes a little bit more sense. So there we go. This is the trend line that we really need to look out for, that we've hit the lows in the previous past, the prior swing low at like $19,700. And right now we're coming very close to this trend line. We're coming close to the $25,200 level. Now the reason why actually I'm considering not to open this short right now and wait for a break towards the downside to enter a swing short position is because we're going to face a lot of support at this level, right? And the 25.2K is already very important. If I switch to this chart over here and head to BTC USDT, I believe it was on the OKX chart, we can see that this 25.2K level already has multiple test backs, multiple tests on the weekly with the wicks touching this 25.2K level. So I think this 25.2 is going to be very important. Coming towards the CPI, I have a no trade rule. I don't trade the day before, the day, and the day after. So if I'm going to be making a position, it's either going to be today or tomorrow. But I really want to see how the markets react once we come back down to this 25.2K level. If we do smash below it, then my next target is 24.2, then the final one at the 21.4K, which is of course insanely bearish, but I do believe this 24.2 is looking pretty possible, unfortunately. So it's looking very, very bad, Bitcoin and the crypto markets. I'm not trying to FUD here. Please don't get me wrong. I'm trying to deliver you objective and realistic news. This is what's happening, but do your best. A lot of exchanges, right? They're facing a lot of problems. So I would, again, diversify the amount of exchanges that you use. Bitflex here is a good option, in my opinion, to diversify, which you can sign up using this link in the description below. But guys, that is pretty much it for me today. I hope you learned something. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, guys, and bye-bye.